The world ended once, and I died with it. Betrayed, broken, abandoned beneath a crimson sky swarming with the howls of the damned. 10 years I fought, 10 years I survived in that nightmare of ash and blood, only to be torn apart by the very people I once called allies. The new humans turned on one another, while the mutants grew stronger with every corpse we left behind. In the end, Netherians stood atop the ruined world, laughing, and I, Ch.1-4, died under his boot. But fate knew, something beyond fate wasn't done with me. Because when I next opened my eyes, I was staring at the cracked ceiling of Dormitory 3B, Room 27, University of Arcturus. The fan above me creaked softly, the light of early morning barely filtering through the dusty blinds. My throat tightened, my heart pounded. I sat up slowly, every nerve screaming in disbelief. No. I reached for my phone on the desk-can old model I hadn't seen in a decade. The screen lit up. Date October 3rd, 2085. Time 5:59 a.m., 1 minute. 1 minute before the sky goes black. Trembling, I stood and stumbled toward the mirror above the sink. The face that looked back was familiar. Too familiar. Young, unscarred. No trace of the burns, the cuts, the brutal years. I clenched the edge of the sink until my knuckles whitened. Back, I whispered, and then I heard it. Genetic enhancement system initializing. Host confirmed. Ch.1-4. Synchronization complete. Welcome, user. A translucent interface flickered in my vision blue lines, icons I hadn't seen since the early days of the apocalypse. Just like before. But this time, I wasn't stumbling in the dark. This time, I knew what was coming. System. My voice was hoarse. Status. Base human genome detected. No enhancements acquired. First directive. Strengthen host before Phase 1 event. Phase 1, the initial blackout. The first mutated beasts. The start of the end. I grabbed my phone again and dialed frantically. It rang once. Twice. Hello, Kale. My mother's voice, alive, warm, real. Tears stung my eyes. I hadn't heard that voice in 10 years, Mom. I choked. Where's Dad? He's still asleep. What's wrong? Listen to me. I forced my voice to steady. You and Dad need to leave the city today. Right now. Pack food, water, medicine. Go to the countryside. Somewhere isolated. Somewhere safe. Kale, you're scaring me. No time, Mom. I shouted, heart hammering. In 1 minute, the sky will go black. Don't ask me how I know. Just trust me. A pause. All right, we'll go. I exhaled, shuddering with relief. I'll find you again, I promise. The call ended. And then, as if the world were holding its breath, the sky darkened. Not like nightfall. Not like clouds. The sun simply vanished, devoured by an abyssal veil. Screams echoed from outside. Dogs howled. Sirens wailed. And I stood there, barefoot and shirtless, in the eye of the storm. This time I was ready. This time, I would not crawl through hell. This time I would conquer it. The sky had gone black, not the black of night. This was deeper, hungrier, a suffocating void that swallowed light and reason alike. No stars, no moon, no sun. Just nothing. Outside, the university erupted into chaos. Screams echoed through the concrete halls. Doors slammed. Windows shattered. Somewhere in the distance, car alarms wailed like dying beasts. I stood in the center of my dorm room, a single breath between me and 10 years of memory. System, I said calmly, as the shadows danced outside. How much time until Phase 1 mutation begins? Estimated time, 5 hours, 57 minutes, 6 hours. 6 hours until the first mutated life form appears. The first scream of something no longer human. The first blood. The first death. I had 6 hours to prepare. I opened my contacts again and scrolled. Uncle Ren. Professor Allen. Callan. Syrah. Names from a lifelong buried. People who died in the first week. I hovered over each one, thumb trembling. One by one I tried calling them. No answer. The call that never came, I muttered. In my first life, I'd been too late. I had no warnings. No clues, no second chances. But now I had all of it tanned still. They weren't picking up. Damn it. I slipped on my jacket, grabbed my duffel bag, and began stuffing it with what I knew I'd need. Water, protein bars, a first aid kit, a collapsible baton, duct tape. I didn't need weapons yet, not until the first mutation. Guns came later when the world truly fell apart. The lights flickered overhead. A second later, they went out completely. Someone screamed down the hallway. Then another. The panic was spreading fast, faster than I remembered. I opened the door and stepped out into the corridor. The emergency lights cast everything in a sickly red glow. Shadows twisted. Students ran past, some barefoot, some crying, others just standing, their frozen in confusion. I grabbed the nearest one by the arm, a first-year student. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "You need to leave the building," I said firmly. "Now. Head to the athletic center. Stay near open ground." He blinked at me. "What's going on? Is this a drill?" "It's not a drill. It's the end." I let him go. Had no time to convince everyone, no time to save them all. Back in my room, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Do you remember me, Kelvirik?" My blood ran cold. "No one should know that name. Not yet. Not like that," I replied. "Who are you?" No response. I stared at the message, heart pounding. Even rebirth had its limits. Had something, or someone, followed me back. The system chimed again. "New genetic mission available. Hunt and absorb the Phase 1 mutant, Burrower Alpha. Location, University Subbasement B2. Time limit, 4 hours." I narrowed my eyes. So it begins. I zipped up my bag, grabbed my flashlight, and slung the strap over my shoulder. The darkness outside was growing thicker. But I wasn't afraid, not anymore. The world had one foot in the grave. It didn't even know it yet. I stepped out of the dorm building, the duffel bag heavy on my back, flashlight in my grip. Above me, the sky was still blanca, canvas of endless black. No wind, no birds. No light pollution, just the void. The silence was worse than the screams. Students were scattered across the campus grounds, some huddled in groups, others pacing, calling loved ones. A few stared at the sky like it was a glitch in their reality. "This isn't real, it's just an eclipse, right?" Someone said it's a terrorist attack. I didn't waste time correcting them. Most wouldn't make it past the next dawn. My boots crunched over gravel as I cut across the quad. I kept my eyes sharp, ears sharper. Phase 1 mutant. Burrower. Alpha. Location. Subbasement B2. That thing had killed 93 people in its first appearance, students, faculty, even a couple of soldiers. The university never stood a chance. Not in the original timeline, but I knew its pattern, knew its lair. And this time, I wasn't going to wait for it to come crawling out. I descended into the science building. The emergency lights buzzed overhead, casting long, distorted shadows against cracked walls. The deeper I went, the more the air smelled wrong, like rust and damp concrete. At the sub-basement door, the system pulsed in my mind. Warning, mutagenic presence detected, hostile life form nearby. I didn't flinch, drew the baton from my bag and extended it with a snap. Not the best weapon for what I was about to face, but it would do. For now, the door creaked open. Darkness, then movement. A low, wet scraping sound echoed from the corridor ahead. Something dragging across tile, not footsteps, not claws. Something else. Then I heard it. A clicking sound, rhythmic, intelligent. The voice wasn't human. It was layered, broken, like glass grinding against metal. I froze. That voice hadn't spoken in the original timeline. Burrowers didn't talk. This one does. The corridor trembled. I spun my flashlight toward the sound just in time to see a shape surge forward at limbs. Segmented carapace, eyes burning with bioluminescent blue. The Burrower Alpha was awake, and it remembered me. I gritted my teeth and charged. "Let's finish what you started." The moment I charged, time seemed to fracture. The hallway exploded into motion light, shadow and sound warping as my flashlight beam caught the mutant in full. The Burrower Alpha wasn't just a monster, it was a warning. A message from the new timeline. Its chitinous limbs scraped the walls as it lunged, mandibles clicking in a rhythm that felt almost ... deliberate. Smart. Too smart. I ducked low, baton swinging upward in a clean arc. The The strike connected with a sharp crack, forcing the creature back a step. Not enough. Its armor was tougher than I remembered. I rolled aside just as a scythe-like leg slammed into the floor where I'd been. As you missed me. It shrieked in response, heightened, pitched, layered, like broken radios speaking at once. The corridor trembled. Concrete dust rained from the ceiling. Pipes groaned. I didn't have long before the structure gave way, or worse, before the sound attracted more. I circled it, eyes locked on its body. Weak spots. Movement patterns. Every frame of its old footage played behind my eyes like a ghost from another life. Back leg slow to retract, like joint exposed when it rears. I remembered. It surged again, faster this time. I dove into a roll, baton extended. A hiss of pain burst from the creature as I landed a strike behind its head. "That's right," I said through gritted teeth. "I'm not the same guy you fought last time." The system pinged in my vision. "Target HP, 68%. Warning, mutation level rising." Damn, it's adapting. Its body pulsed blue, veins glowing brighter beneath the armor. I felt the shift in the air, heat, radiation. The mutation was accelerating. That doesn't look good. I spotted a loose pipe jutting from the ceiling, barely hanging by a corroded bracket. Timing had to be perfect. As the burrower reared back to strike, I sprinted toward the wall and kicked off, launching upward. My baton hooked the pipe midair, and I yanked with all my weight. It snapped free with a screech of metal. The heavy pipe crashed down onto the burrower's back, staggering it. It shrieked more furious than wounded, but it gave me the opening I needed. I was already moving, sliding beneath its flailing limbs. I drove the baton into the exposed joint behind its shoulder. The blow cracked through. A burst of dark ichor sprayed across the wall. Target HP, 22%. But then, it did something new. It spoke. You remember. I froze, just half a second, too long. It slammed me into the wall with a leg like iron. My vision blurred. Pain flared across my ribs, but I stayed conscious. Barely. My hand found the baton. My grip tightened. I whispered. I'm whining again this time. With a roar, I drove the weapon into its court, twisting, pushing until the shrieking stopped. Silent. The body collapsed. Target neutralized. EXP gained. 450. New skill unlocked. Adrenal surge. I leaned against the wall, blood trickling from my lip, heart hammering. I've changed the future. Maybe. And I'm not done yet.